A very interesting moment of reflection for the paranormal community today, as a video has been uploaded by a paranormal reactor who started out as a paranormal reactor and has kind of gone down the UFO route as of late, continues their, paranormal reacting from time to time, but it's a YouTuber by the name of Caspersight. Now, I'm sure you're all very well aware of who this guy is. He's one of the biggest paranormal reacting channels who is consistently uploading paranormal content at the moment, right? And he's just dropped a video over on his YouTube channel, funnily enough, called Caspersight, titled "A Message to All Paranormal YouTube Channels: Stop What You're Doing." Now, this is a very interesting video. I've just come off the back of watching it, and there's some key points to take away from this. Now, within the video, it kind of comes across initially from the get-go like, it's almost like a debunker kind of message, where it's like calling out the fakers, stop what you're doing, all the rest of it. But actually, under the surface, it's a lot different than that. So, to cut a very long story short, obviously, if you want the full context, I highly recommend you go and check out Caspersight's video. It's over on his YouTube channel, and he'll give the full context to it. And basically, what it is a call out to all paranormal YouTube channels, real and fake, debunkers, all the rest of it, right? Basically saying, what do you think of this message that I'm trying to portray within this video? And the message within the video is a very interesting one at that. So the video starts out as a show of support for legit paranormal channels. So Caspersight wants to promote smaller, authentic paranormal investigative channels that don't fake content, as they often get fewer views compared to the sensationalized channels despite their genuine efforts. And this is obviously a sentiment that has been expressed by multiple debunkers. I know Beardo's covered this as well. I know that Mr. Gray's covered it. I know that, well, pretty much every debunker has the same kind of message. Like, these people get overshadowed by the likes of your over-sensationalized paranormal YouTube channels who have the highly explosive, high editing, high octane energy and tend to capture something every single time they go out investigating, right? And there was also a bit of a critique from Caspersight from the current content. So legit channels can often sometimes lack engaging content because they don't capture much activity, leading to slower paced videos that may not retain viewers, unlike popular channels that use dramatic effects or potentially staged events. And, Caspersight himself within his video uses the comparison of Sam and Colby, for example. That very highly explosive, highly strung video type where it's like the Mr. Beast of the paranormal, where there's boom, 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 every few seconds there's something in your face, right? And that's kind of like the blueprint for paranormal YouTube channels, because unfortunately, there is an argument to be made that there is a space for legit paranormal channels, the likes of the Ouija brothers, who are, highly sung the praises of by the debunking community, right? But these other channels, obviously, they are capturing things every single week. They're sensationalizing the niche. They are highly engaging, they're very loud people. They're very, in-your-face, explosive personalities. And to some people that can draw you in, to some people that can push you away. Now, obviously, I guess it depends on the demographic that you're aiming for. The younger audiences, especially on YouTube, right, will be drawn to that higher engaging kind of content, and that's why these channels tend to succeed, because it's that Mr. Beast blueprint formula across the board, where it's like highly explosive means highly explosive views. It's just very, very typical. But many channels follow the repetitive formula of a blueprint, for example, following a generic intro about the location's history and proceeding predictably, which limits creativity and audience engagement. Now, it is kind of the case. There's always this, Caspersight uses the example in his video as well, but it's, there is a very, very blueprint kind of formula. This is the ancient Ram Inn. Someone died here ages ago, and this is who we're going to be calling out to today, and there's demons, stories, and reports of exorcisms that took place. It's the same. It builds up a narrative, builds up suspense, and it's like this whole idea of like this, suspense building. It's narrative telling, but unfortunately that has become the blueprint for paranormal videos. It's like, if you don't do it this way, then you're not doing a very good job. And then Caspersight makes a very interesting turn in the video and calls for creativity. So he urges content creators to treat their videos like movies, with a clear beginning, middle, and end, incorporating storytelling elements like build-up, anticipation, and satisfying conclusions to make the video more compelling without faking content. Now, if there's one thing that I will say about that, it's that's if you're going to do that without faking content, obviously that's going to become, like, to get the quote-unquote satisfying ending is never guaranteed. You can give as much build-up as you want, but if you don't capture that thing that you're building up to, then ultimately you're going to leave viewers kind of unsatisfied because, you know, yes, you might get the retention of building up the video, building up the narrative, and then where's the payoff, if that makes sense? Some people might view it in that capacity. Some people might see that as genuine and authentic, which is absolutely great. I know that's what Caspersight's clearly pushing for, and this isn't the first time that he's kind of mentioned this kind of thing before. Without wanting to kind of call people out, he's basically dissatisfied with the fake paranormal stuff and he wants some more engaging and real stuff. But at the same time, you know, that's not exactly the stuff that pops on YouTube and on social media. It's not always the case. And then he goes on to talk about storytelling suggestions. So specific ideas, include showing the process of discovering the location, discussing equipment, filming the journey, using B-roll, dramatic music, and slow motion shots to create a cinematic experience that draws viewers in. And then he also goes on to talk about avoiding faking content. So he emphasizes staying authentic and not resorting to staging or making noises, but instead focusing on unique, creative approaches to stand out. And then there's also audience connection. So while some viewers connect with the investigators personally and support them, regardless of activity, engaging storytelling could attract a broader audience and increase their viewership. And there's encouragement to experiment. So Caspersight encourages creators to try a new style, even for one video, to see how it impacts views, assuring them that true fans will support authentic creativity. And then there's personal motivation. So Caspersight says, as a reactor himself, he finds it challenging to react to slow-paced, uneventful videos as they don't provide the excitement or adrenaline needed for entertaining reactions, motivating their suggestions for improvement. Now, I think this is, again, another one of those double-edged swords where it's like, that is a great idea in concept, but at the same time, obviously, for Caspersight's videos, you know, if you ever watch his content, he does rely on those top 10 channels to a degree. I won't, you know, he obviously carries the video, but the premise of the video is obviously based around the spooky clips, right? And that, like, again, those top 10 channels are fast-paced, hard-hitting, boom, in-your-face kind of content. So it's like, you know, obviously he wants more of that in authentic channels so he doesn't have to necessarily react to the fake stuff and then, like, you know, draw a reaction from that. But at the same time, obviously, I think it's a very grey area, very fine line, and it's a balancing act, isn't it? Where it's like, you don't want to over dramatize a video for the sake of authentic, to sacrifice authenticness, but you don't want to be under dramatic and sacrifice engagement, if that makes sense. It's a very tricky spot to find yourself in, especially in a niche where you're trying to be as authentic as possible in a dark, quiet place. All right, it's hard, and I respect the people that do go out and do it on an authentic basis, because that's a tricky thing to do. And then, obviously, towards the end of the video, Caspersight puts a call out to anyone and everyone to kind of talk about it and be like, well, what do you guys think about this? Because ultimately, let's not beat around the bush here. The fake paranormal content has led the genre for ages, right? Even not just on YouTube, but TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram, on even in the cinema, right? Like, you know, that kind of highly strung, and that's, I think, where even on television as well, right? You got the likes of Ghost Adventures, for example, highly engaging episodes. 45 minutes, you're gripped because of the narrative, because of the storytelling, because of there is the payoff that you're promised within the episode, whether it's legit or not, right? You're guaranteed that payoff. Every single episode, something happens in Ghost Adventures. And then obviously Caspersight's trying to say, you know, like, try and build your narrative not around a show, but be authentic, do it yourself, do it in your own way, but at the same time give it that payoff. But it's quite a difficult one. I don't know. Obviously, I'm intrigued to hear what you guys have to say about it. Like I say, go over to Caspersight's original video, and I highly recommend that you do go and engage with that video, give him your suggestions or whatever. I don't know if he'll read the comments, he probably will, but yeah, I'd be intrigued to see how this might shift the narrative, right? I can guarantee there will be some videos made by debunkers, for example, who will be like all for this kind of content. They will relish in this kind of content. Some people may see it as a personal dig at fake paranormal channels. You know, I think the only people that will take it as digs are the people that are not as authentic as they claim to be, potentially. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I'm really intrigued. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. And while you're down there, jump to get the hell out of that like button and subscribe. And until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.